Ya, kami ucapkan selamat siang dan selamat datang kepada Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, seluruh tamu undangan tentu saja di acara U20 Sherpa Meeting Jakarta. Kami persilahkan bagi Bapak dan Ibu yang sudah sampai di Pullman Hotel Jakarta, kami persilahkan untuk berkenan memasuki ruangan ballroom. Dan tak lupa juga kami beritahukan bagi Bapak dan Ibu untuk dapat mengenakan pin yang sudah kami bagikan di awal. Dan tak lupa juga kami beritahukan Bapak dan Ibu sekalian bahwa di sini kami sudah menyediakan alat untuk interpreter, sekali lagi untuk channel 1 untuk Indonesia, kemudian channel 2 untuk Inggris, channel 3 untuk Spanyol, dan channel 4 untuk Mandarin. Once again, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the U20 Sherpa Meeting Jakarta. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you may enter the ballroom and you may wear the pin. And we also would like to inform you that we have prepared for the interpreter device. For channel 1 is for Indonesia, channel 2 is for English, channel 3 is for Spain, and channel 4 is for Mandarin. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Governor of Jakarta, Mr. Anies Rashid Baswedan, PhD, and the Governor of West Java, Dr. Haji Muhammad Ridwan Kamil, ST, MUD. Baik, Bapak dan Ibu, kami persilahkan untuk berkenan duduk sekali lagi. Kepada seluruh tamu undangan, kami persilahkan untuk duduk. Sekali lagi. Bapak dan Ibu tamu undangan terhormat, mohon maaf yang di dalam ruangan ini hanya untuk partisipan. Jadi sekali lagi kami mohon kerjasamanya kepada seluruh protokol dan juga ajudan untuk berkenan menuju atau menunggu di luar ballroom, dan sekali lagi kami undang kepada seluruh partisipan untuk berkenan duduk di tempat duduk yang telah kami sediakan. Sekali lagi kami ucapkan terima kasih atas kerjasamanya. Sekali lagi kami mohon kerjasama kepada seluruh ajudan dan juga protokol dan rekan-rekan fotografer terbatas untuk berkenan menunggu di ruangan foyer. Terima kasih.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin today's agenda, we kindly invite you to listen Indonesia National Anthem.
Please rise. Please be seated.
isn't in the mist. Achilles in this ground, Achilles and this man. Spider-Man's control, a Batman with his peace. But really I don't see myself, you found at least. She said, where you wanna go, how much you wanna risk. I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gift, some superhero, some fairy tale piece. Can turn to somebody I can kiss. I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this. Oh, I want something just like this. I want something just like this. Say where you wanna go, how much you wanna risk. I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gift, some superhero, some fairy tale abyss. I want something just like this, something that I want something just like
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the U20 Sherpa Meeting, Jakarta. And we just witnessed the beautiful performance, Ondel-Ondel Manis Dance or Ondel-Ondel Sweet Dance from Jakarta. And Ondel-Ondel itself is an icon at Jakarta City, accompanied by Gambang Kromong performance. And for the second performance, we have heard the beautiful sound from bamboo performance instrument angklung. And angklung is an instrument icon from West Java. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're delighted to welcome you to the U20 Sherpa Meeting, Jakarta. Thank you very much. And the city of Jakarta has officially taken on the role of the chair of the U20 and is now the official host of the Sherpa meeting with the support of the U20 conveners, Cities 40 and United Cities and local government. And it is an honor now to give a very warm welcome to our honorable guest, the Governor of Jakarta, Mr. Anis Rashid Baswedan, PhD, as the co-chair of Urban 20. The Governor of West Java, Dr. Haji Muhammad Ridwan Kamil, ST MUD, as the co-chair of Urban 20. Deputy Minister for Coordination of International Economic Cooperation at Coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs, Mr. Edi Priyo Pambudi, as the G20 Co-Sherpa. Deputy Director for International Economy and Finance, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Ms. Nurul Sofia, as the Deputy Head of G20 Task Force. Head of the Center for Facilitation of Cooperation of the Ministry of Home Affairs of Indonesia, Dr. Heriandi Roni, MSI. Secretary General of UCLG, Ms. Emilia Sais, as the U20 Convener. C40 Executive Director, Mr. Mark Watts, as the U20 Convener. Assistant to Jakarta Province Secretary on Economic and Financial, Dr. Sri Haryati, as the Jakarta U20 Sherpa. Secretary of West Java Province Government, Dr. Insinyur Setiawan Wangsaatmaja, as the West Java U20 Sherpa. All the representatives of participating cities, observer cities, and U20 partners. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, now we are in the opening session of the Urban 20 Sherpa Meeting, Jakarta. And without further ado, I would like to kindly invite the Deputy Minister for Coordination of International Economic Cooperation to give a speech. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Edi Priyo Pambudi as the G20 Co-Sherpa.
Right. Thank you so much, moderators, fellow chairs of U20, Secretary Generals of the Ministries of Home Affairs Indonesia, U20 Sherpas, U20 Conveners, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the G20 Sherpa Indonesia, allow me from Bali to open by extending our highest appreciation to the team of the Urban 20 for convening the first Urban Sherpa meeting in 2022. It is my pleasure to be speaking among the visionaries of the sustainable cities from all across the world. I want to recall to the early stages of our times in 2020, when COVID-19 pandemic impacted our economy and society. COVID-19 has brought about us to experience to cut back of hustle and hassle of Jakarta and other metropolitan cities like never before. Today, we have entered the third year of overcoming and tackling the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic in all aspects of living. Recovery varies greatly between and within countries, even cities. However, Indonesian economic recovery in general is making a good progress. Indonesia is one of the countries whose economy has returned to the pre-pandemic period. This achievement is supported mostly by effective counter-cyclical policies. The recovery trend is projected to continue to build up, as reflected in the positive movement of several leading indicators. Indonesian manufacturing PMI has been in the expansive zone for the 6 months. Electricity consumption has been a strong positive trend, while imported material goods has continued to increase markedly, reflecting strong production activities. On the consumption side, several indicators have also soared. Mobility indicators has been slightly improved to the pre-pandemic levels, indicating that people have resumed their activities despite the moderation in the mid-February due to Omicron wave. Moreover, the recent retail sales index and consumer confidence index demonstrate a stronger household consumption, while Indonesian inflation is still relatively mild compared to other countries. Therefore, the government's forecast Indonesian economic growth about 5.2% in this year. The 6 core priorities issues brought up by the Urban 20 illustrates the urgency of our work to create a more livable and healthier environment for all. With human-centric policies, cities will be a safe place to generate productivity. Aligned with the spirit to recover together, recover stronger, the Indonesian G20 presidency hopes to bring concrete deliverables into action as a global exit strategy post-COVID-19 pandemic in response to triple disruption on global health, digitalization, and climate change. For example, Jakarta has committed to enhancing a greener public transportation by Transjakarta delivering the first 100 electric buses on specified routes by the end of 2020 with the aim at having an all-electric fleet by 2030. Certainly many improvements have been going on, and only with committed collaboration, more concrete breakthroughs can be achieved. We also continuously emphasize that digital-based economic transformation is very crucial in this era. Digital literacy and skill enhancement are needed to boost MSMEs' productivities and innovation. Jakarta and Bandung are home to the MSMEs, almost 290,000 MSMEs in Jakarta and 466,000 MSMEs in Bandung are bound to help the recovery of urban metropolitan and contribute to the 90% of Indonesia's whole economy. Moreover, young people who are on their productive age are key to create innovation, preparing the upcoming generation for the future of work, collaborating with relevant stakeholders. The G20 presidency hopes Urban 20 can work to improve human resources quality to be the more adaptive to these needs, both in cities and villages. Further, Urban 20 needs to create an inclusive and future-ready cities in the world. We welcome your initiative and wish you good and productive discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edi Priyo Pambudi, as the G20 Co-Sherpa for your warm welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, on the next agenda, we would like to kindly invite the head of Center for Facilitation of Cooperation of the Ministry of Home Affairs of Indonesia to give his speech. Please welcome Dr. Heriandi Roni, MSI.
Thank you. Thank you. Distinguished Deputy Minister for International Economic Cooperation, Coordinating Ministry for Economic Affairs as G20 Indonesia Co-Sherpa, Special Advisor to Minister of Foreign Affairs on Priority Issue as G20 Indonesia Co-Sherpa, Governor of DKI Jakarta Province, Bapak Anies Baswedan, and Governor of West Java Province, Bapak Ridwan Kamil as co-chairs of U20 Indonesia, Executive Director City 40, Secretary General UCLG, representative from working groups and engagement groups, G20 Indonesia Presidency, distinguished all members of U20, guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. May peace be upon us. First of all, allow me to convey my sincere appreciation to the Governor of DKI Jakarta and the Governor of West Java as co-chairs of U20 Indonesia for holding this Sherpa meeting today. In organizing U20 Indonesia, the Ministry of Home Affairs, as the mother ministry in charge of coordinating and assisting the provincial government of DKI Jakarta and the provincial government of West Java in implementing Indonesia U20 activities. With a population of 270 million people, Indonesia is the fourth most populous country in the world. As a country that adheres to a decentralized system, currently there are 34 provinces and 514 regencies and cities in Indonesia, consisting of 416 regencies and 98 cities, and each regency and city has its own peculiarities, both in terms of geography, demography, and culture. There are 14 cities in Indonesia that taking part as observer cities at the Sherpa meeting today. The cities are a reflection of the diversity of Indonesia, which consists of 70,000 islands spread from Sabang to Merauke. Ladies and gentlemen, cities are in an ideal position as the spearhead to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. We understand that the SDGs will not be achieved without significant changes in the way we organize and develop urban areas. The rapid growth of cities combined with increasing urbanization has resulted in an increase in urban population. Creating safe and sustainable cities means ensuring access to safe and affordable using and improving slum settlements. This, of course, also involves investing in public transport, creating green spaces for the public, and improving urban planning and governance that is inclusive while involving all parties. Based on those arguments and reflecting the theme of the Indonesian G20 presidency, recover together, recover stronger, we hope that the priority issues that will be discussed at U20 Indonesia can enrich Indonesia G20 agenda with good perspective and experiences from the city, and bring local perspective to the G20 agenda. Furthermore, U20 is expected to accommodate and deeply engage cities and local governments to address the most compelling challenges our world faces, including recovering from the crisis resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic and the climate change. In this regard, cities have a vital role to play in fostering an inclusive and sustainable environment for society. Therefore, collaboration with all U20 city leaders to strengthen collective voices during the G20 Indonesia 2022 presidency is essential, because the final result in the form of a communique document will be submitted to the G20 presidency and head of state as a contribution from U20. Distinguished guests, finally, we hope that this Sherpa meeting can run smoothly and reach a consensus in accordance with the goals to be achieved together. We believe that all of these things cannot be achieved without the spirit of collaboration between cities in overcoming urban and local issues that we face today, such as climate change, pandemics, and economic recovery. I wish you a good day and an effective meeting. Let's work together to create a better city and world. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause.
Thank you, Dr. Heriandi Roni MSI, for your warm speech. And ladies and gentlemen, next in our agenda, we would like to kindly invite the Secretary General of UCLG to deliver her speech. Please welcome Ms. Emilia Sais as the U20 convener.
Thank you very much, and greetings from Dakar in Senegal, where the World Water Forum is being held, and cities from around the world, and in particular African cities, are coming together. And greetings to our co-chairs of the Urban 20, the Governor of West Java and the Governor of Jakarta. Thank you to the G20 representatives from Indonesia that are joining us today. It is indeed a very important step to have such an active participation from the G20 process in the Urban 20 process. Dear colleagues, dear friends, these are trying times. The crises that are overlapping and affecting not only cities, but local and regional governments all around the world, our territories, citizens all over the planet are proving to us that unity is more important than ever. It is at these hard times where our capacity to build bridges, to continue fostering peace, to continue fostering local democracy as a basis for peaceful societies is more important than ever before. We have achieved great things as Urban 20 cities, putting together a strong agenda that can actually underpin some of the global objectives that we have set for our planet. The global agendas cannot be achieved without the active participation of cities around the world, without their contributions, their innovations, and their policies. In the last cycle, we have come to understand that the urban era is not only an era of big cities, but is an era of big and small, of territories all together, and that the role of intermediary cities as service providers will be critical. We have also underpinned the importance of culture in developing societies that are resilient and sustainable, and that can cultivate sustainable peace, which we know we all need very much in these trying times. We have also come to understand that without the solidarity that can actually trigger health coverage all over the world and vaccinations for the whole planet, we will not be able to meet the very important goals that we have agreed under the Sustainable Development Goals framework. We would like to continue building on those values and those priorities. And we are very proud to see that the priorities from cities around the planet continue to be similar. Health is high on the agenda, mental health as well, as you will hear today. We also realize that sustainable mobility will be critical, but we don't want to forget inclusion and equality as a critical cornerstone for our work. The priority of today's meeting is to hear about the process that the G20 chairs are leading in Indonesia, and also the priorities of the Urban 20 co-chairs. We will also have tomorrow the space for a closed door meetings where we might be able to also study other issues that are impacting and will impact our agendas. And we all know that Ukraine is our hearts and in our minds, like many other territories in the planet that are affected by armed conflict. I would encourage the Sherpas around the table today to stick to the agenda and to make sure that we build that open, safe space tomorrow for further discussions. United Cities and Local Governments is very happy to accompany you in this process together with our co-conveners, C40. And I look forward to listening to you all today. I thank Indonesia again for their inputs. And let us remember that we need to ensure that our diplomacy is a diplomacy that triggers transformation, unity, and solidarity among local and regional governments all over the world. Thank you.
Please give a round of applause. Yes, once again, thank you, Ms. Emilia Saiz, for your speech. And ladies and gentlemen, next on our agenda, we would like to invite the C40 Executive Director as one of the U20 convener to give his remarks. Please welcome Mr. Mark Watts.
Thank you, and good morning, afternoon, evening, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. And I would like to start by thanking the honourable representatives of the G20 presidency and our U20 co-chairs, the Governor of Jakarta and the Governor of West Java province. And I very much agree with my colleague Emilia's comments just now that unity at the moment is more important than ever. Just recalling as we start here the fifth cycle of the U20, that the U20 was created back in 2017 under the leadership then of Mayor Loretta of Buenos Aires, Mayor Hidalgo of Paris, because at that time there was no formal way for cities to engage with the G20. And 5 years later, we're now recognized as an engagement group, thanks to the work, the engagement of participating cities, many of whom are here today, and particularly our past U20 chairs, the cities of Buenos Aires, Paris, Tokyo, Riyadh, Milan, and Rome. And we can see that our impact on the G20 ecosystem is growing. Last year, the Italian chairs of the G20 Climate, Sustainability and Energy Working Group asked for the input and recommendations of U20 cities on how to deliver a green and a just recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. And we could see the impact of those inputs on the responses of some G20 members, and indeed U20's role was acknowledged by the G20. So we stand in this cycle ready to continue working with the G20 in this spirit of cooperation, sharing the best practices from local governments across the world on how to achieve a green and a just recovery from the pandemic, and cutting pollution and building resilience globally. Clearly, there are a number of very important geopolitical backdrops. COP26 in Glasgow just at the end of last year, where the pledges from governments fell well short of what's needed to stop runaway climate breakdown. And indeed, even if all of those pledges were delivered, rather than halving emissions by 2030, the target that we know we must achieve to stay under 1.5 degrees and run away global climate breakdown, if all of those commitments were delivered, emissions would be higher in 2030 than they are today. So a big role for U20 cities to play in pushing the G20, the countries with the largest share of global emissions, to go a lot faster. Of course, as Emilia has referred to, the wider geopolitical picture has become much more complex. Since that COP, the war in Ukraine has led to additional humanitarian crisis on top of the many others around the world. Global food prices were already at a 40-year high before the conflict and now rising further. The same with fossil fuel, energy prices, and we're seeing the impact of growing inequality and rising poverty as a result of all of those. All of these issues are intrinsically linked, and so from a C40 perspective, we very much agree with the focus on inclusive climate action, a green and a just recovery from the pandemic. One of the major themes that we've been working on part of this U20 cycle is a Future is Public Transport campaign in collaboration with the International Transport Workers Federation, the International Public Transport Association, and our colleagues from UCLG, to ensure that every person living in an urban area has access to safe, affordable and accessible public transport within a 10-minute walk from their home. This is about equity, it's about reducing pollution, and it's about achieving that green and just recovery from the pandemic. So we very much look forward to our continued partnership, to fruitful, collaborative exchanges with the G20 and indeed within our own community, the U20, as Amelia says, in a spirit of unity and collaboration. On behalf of C40, as one of the U20 co-conveners, very much looking forward to working with you all in that spirit of partnership and inclusivity today. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for Mr. Mark Watts. And once again, thank you for your remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to invite the Governor of West Java as the co-chair of Urban 20. Please welcome Governor Muhammad Ridwan Kamil.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sampurasun, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Honorable Mr. Anies Baswedan as the Governor of Jakarta, Honorable Mr. Edi Priyo Pambudi as a G20 Sherpa, Honorable Ms. Nurul Sofia as a Deputy Head of G20 Task Force, Honorable Mr. Heriandi Roni from the Ministry of Home Affairs, Ms. Emilia Sais from UCLG as a Urban 20 Conveners, and also Mr. Mark Watts from C40 Executive Director. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you. First of all, on behalf of the West Java government as a co-host of Urban 20, I would like to welcome all of you to the Urban 20 Sherpa Meeting, especially to Urban 20 members, Urban 20 observer cities, also chairs of G20 development working groups, and of course all G20 engagement groups. Once every 20 years, and this is Indonesia has the opportunity to become the president of the G20 summit, and West Java province is pleased and proud to be chosen as a co-chair for the Urban 20 raise awareness of urban problems. G20 of course represents more than 60% of the world populations with a mission to achieve strong, sustainable, balanced, and also inclusive global growth. Through the Urban 20 Engagement Group, collaborative ideas and action have been born between cities from G20 member countries that have joined in playing a real role in overcoming global issues such as climate change, structural inequalities, and also COVID-19 pandemic. The current G20 presidency team is Recover Together, Recover Stronger. It's expected to encourage and motivate Indonesians, especially our people, to become more active in participating in national development program based on the collaborative efforts from the world leaders in promoting more inclusive and sustainable growth. We are following the three major G20 issues, is energy transition, the architecture of global health, and the transition to the digital economy, which will be developed to be 6 priorities issues of Urban 20. Urban 20 is an important forum to synchronize the national priority with the existing global commitment in order to bring perspective of cities into the priority of the agenda of the G20. Along with some experts, we have comprehensively discussed and sharpened 6 priority issues which will be discussed in this Urban 20 Sherpa meeting event. The 6 priority issues include economic and social recovery, productive and affordable housing, renewable energy transition, mental health and pandemic resilience, equal access, sustainable mobility, and the future of works. I would like to represent and emphasize a point of view from all member and non-member developing countries of the G20 Forum in the joint draft communique that will be discussed together in this Sherpa meeting. Each member of G20 must stand together to minimize global inequality, including in the context of urban issues. Therefore, the communique must really be addressed to solve the global urban problem for today and the future practically. And I would like to put my strong points that the role of urban transition as a phenomenon that would likely to happen globally. Therefore, we need to see urban issues are not only as an urban itself, but also how the urban emerge for the next decades. And this moment, entering the change from pandemic phase to endemic phase, the synergy of the government with all sectors and communities is necessary to achieve stable regional conditions. Thank you once again for your attention, and I hope what will be discussed today will bring happiness and also improve the quality of life for the people in the cities. Happy citizen and also netizen will represent the success of our nation building. Let's bring happiness to our city. Terima kasih. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause. Once again, thank you, Governor Ridwan Kamil, for your speech. And ladies and gentlemen, now we would like to invite the Governor of Jakarta as the co-chair of Urban 20 to deliver the opening remarks, followed by the opening Urban 20 Sherpa Meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Governor Anies Rashid Baswedan.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very warm welcome to Jakarta, to all the delegates, excellencies, distinguished participants, and allow me to mention a few honorable speakers here. Excellency Governor of West Java, Kang Ridwan Emil, the co-chair of Urban 20. Also, Mr. Edi Priyo Pambudi as G20 Co-Sherpa, Mrs. Nurul Sofia as Deputy Head of G20 Task Force, Bapak Dr. Herianto Roni as the Head of the Center for Facilitation of Cooperations of the Ministry of Home Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. I'd like to mention our colleague, Emilia Sais as the U20 convener, Mark Watts as the U20 conveners as well, and also speakers from West Java, Dr. Insinyur Setiawan Wangsa Atmaja and Ibu Sri Haryati of Jakarta, and would like to also pay respect to representative of participating cities, observer cities, and U20 partners. It is indeed an honor for Jakarta to host the Urban 20 Sherpa meeting today, following the footsteps of Rome and Milan. Jakarta as the U20 co-chair of 2022 cycle will continue to call for city leaders to elevate their voice, to collaborate, and to convey joint recommendations on crucial issues on the aspects of environment, social, and economic to the government of Indonesia as the G20 president. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this year, the U20 is co-hosted by Governor of Jakarta and Governor of West Java, and we will be focusing and facilitating engagement between G20 and cities, particularly in highlighting as well as in discussing probable solutions for issues within the G20 agenda. And reflecting on the G20 theme this year, which is Recover Together, Recover Stronger, this cycle of the Sherpa meeting and also of the U20 summit will focus on 6 issues that my colleague, the co-chair, has elaborated earlier. So those 6 issues will be priority of conversation. It is indeed this time of the year, the world is facing a challenging time, which also demand our attention, but let's not derail our focus. We need to address many important issues to ensure the long-run solutions for cities and for government that needs to be discussed at the U20 and the G20 level. So the U20 plays an important role in the G20 proceeding, since it is our work toward developing a collaborative stance and collective actions between mayors of U20 cities and other international partners. And our role is to inform and to move forward the conversations that will be held by the G20 leaders. By considering voices within the G20 forum, the U20 raises profiles of urban issues to national and global leaders, in which, in fact, so many of issues that is being discussed at the global level were in the urban area or caused by urban challenges. So we hope that the U20 could be a platform that articulate, that advocates for local perspective, especially urban perspective, within the G20 agenda. So ladies and gentlemen, the Sherpa meetings, our meetings, marks a rare opportunity. Not only will the meeting reports on how the U20 had impacted the G20 landscape, but cities will discuss policy priorities for the 2022 cycle. And it will also set up a clear requests and recommendations to be passed to the G20. So we do hope that the Sherpa meetings that raise issues, discusses, put priorities, and then we'll bring it to the U20 summit, and then the U20 summit will then transfer it in a communique to the G20, will reflect many of challenges that we all were facing at the local level. So the U20 Sherpas are powerful positions to bring forward political messages to be delivered to the G20 through the U20 communique. So one of the outcomes of the 2022 cycle and Sherpa meetings should also include a reinforced link between U20 cities and G20 national and regional priority, as well as the 2030 agenda. Distinguished delegates, in supporting the collective and stronger recovery agenda brought by the G20 presidency of Indonesia, we in the U20 are committed to work together, and we are convinced that the urban perspective is indispensable from the G20 priorities. And this is in fact a momentum for local and national government to have vertical integrations, to support each other, to translate global agreements into policies, into programs that will be beneficial in our society. And this clear vertical integrations is an issue that we all need to absorb. That at the global level, we have challenges. At the local level, we also have challenges. And making sure that this is aligned, that this is integrated, are very important. That's what we call the vertical integrations. And this is also momentum for fellow city leaders to form coalitions to overcome challenges that is experienced by cities that have undergone a pandemic crisis as part of having a horizontal integrations between cities. So on these occasions, allow me on behalf of the city of Jakarta and the people of Jakarta to welcome the 37 observer cities from all over the world. They may keep an eye on the whole discussions during the Sherpa meetings and the Mayor Summit. And I'd like also to remind you that our agenda is not exclusive. As a result of these global discussions, it shall be informed to the public and it should spark discourse among them. The conversations is in this room, but the echo should be out there and loud and discussed by everyone outside this room. And that's where it is very important to make sure that all our agenda is not exclusive. It is indeed an agenda that reflect public interest, reflect public agenda. Allow me at the end of my remark, and before I handing the torch to both the U20 Sherpas, we all realize that the world is now facing a trying times. This is the time where peace is out there being questioned. We're worried about the world peace. So I'd like to invite all of us who are participating in these Sherpa meetings to have a silent of moment and also to pray for the world peace, and hope that's also send a message to everyone that we do care about the world peace. Allow me to invite all of you to start a moment of silence. Thank you. And now, allow me, on behalf of the co-chairmanship of the U20, to announce that the Urban 20 Sherpa Meeting is now officially open. Thank you. Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please give a round of applause. And once again, thank you. Once again, thank you, Governor Anies Baswedan, for the remarks. And Urban 20 Sherpa Meeting Jakarta has now officially begun. Ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate the moment, we will have a group of photo. We kindly invite the honorable guests to be ready, and for the distinguished guests who have joined virtually, please make sure your camera is on. And to distinguished guests, please stand up and move forward in front of the table. Okay, once again, distinguished guests, please stand up and move forward in front of the table. We will have a group of photo with the distinguished guests who have joined with us virtually. And once again, make sure for distinguished guests who have joined virtually, please make sure your camera is on. Yes, for the first group of pictures. Okay, we will have a 4 session of photos. Please make sure your camera is on. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hold on for a second. We will continue with the next screen. One, two, three. Okay, once more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much to all distinguished guests. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the end of the opening ceremony, and we will continue to the second session of G20 Indonesia engagement discussion. And we thank to Mr. Anies Rashid Baswedan, Governor of Jakarta, who have opened today's event, and Mr. Ridwan Kamil, the Governor of West Java, that have support our event. And acknowledging your busy schedule, you may leave the venue if you wish. And once again, thank you, Mr. Governor. Yes, once again, thank you very much, Mr. Governor.